My wife Lisa and I are the owners of Living Water Lawn and Tree Care. Welcome to our tutorial series on how to take care of your yard. Today we're going to be talking about proper mowing. So hey, see you in the backyard. Okay, we haven't had an accident here in the garage. The lawnmower is on its side on purpose and we've got some tools there. Because another part of proper mowing and having a great looking lawn, when it comes to mowing, is having sharp blades. And it's a lot easier to change your blades than you'd think. Really, all you need is an extra blade, a wrench, and a stick. But I'm going to have Duke, our general manager, kind of show us how to change the blades of a lawnmower. Hi, Duke.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Great, man. You ready to give me a hand?
I'm ready, guys.
All right. Okay. So Duke's going to show you just how easy it is to change the blades in your mower. By the way, make sure your mower is not running, okay? You don't want to lose any digits. Now, the reason we had that dowel was because you can actually do it by yourself. That could have been done with one person. So we take this old blade off, and while this blade looks a little rough, a little beat up, this blade can be sharpened. It's not a blade that we'll need to throw away. It can be sharpened. Now I want to show you a different blade that it's done. This blade is going to start to wear, and it can actually begin to break and shoot off metal shards. So a blade like this needs to be thrown away. Even though this blade looks similar, it's not. And that's one of the reasons I recommend you have a professional sharpen your blades. It's a very reasonably priced service. They'll balance and sharpen your blades. It's just better. Okay, so here's a new blade. Nice and sharp. And again, that's why we've got gloves on, because it is sharp. Bolt goes through. Okay, so while these blades are self-tightening, you want to have it pretty snug. And that should be about it. That should be just fine. But let's see. We'll give her a pull and see how she works. We're ready to mow. Sharp blade, no. This is a beautiful stand of turf. The color's perfect. There isn't a weed in this lawn. You know, that's what we do for a living, is make beautiful lawns. But what makes this lawn work isn't just the fertilizer, isn't just our attention to weed control, it's really the mowing and the watering. As I said, today we're going to talk about mowing. You may notice, look at my finger here, you're kind of getting lost there in the turf, and that may seem kind of high. But we're mowing at about 2.5 inches. We mowed this lawn a few days ago. Now in the summertime, when you mow higher, you save water, you have far less weeds, and this green color, well, you can't get this green color on a short lawn, not when it's hot. So proper mow height is a huge piece of having a beautiful lawn. And this lawn mower right here, this is a nice Toro that we borrowed from our friends at Ace Small Engine Repair and Sales. But this nice Toro mower has 6 options for mow height. And actually, as we change that mow height, just like this, pretty simply, and going higher, that's what you want to do in the summer. Now it's a little hard to get used to at first, but before long your lawn looks just as manicured as if you cut it short, except for, well, it's greener, you use less water, a lot less weeds, and crabgrass doesn't do well when you mow high. So, while lots of people like to mow short, way down here, and you can do that early in the year, and you can do that late in the year. But in the summertime, if you want a green lawn, it's a bad idea. If you want to save water, it's a bad idea. And if you don't like weeds and crabgrass, again, it's a bad idea. So raise that mow height and have a beautiful green lawn, save some water, and the weeds just won't like it. 21 years ago when my wife Lisa Lisa and I started Living Water Lawn and Tree Care, we mowed a lot of lawns. And one of the things that we learned was that by changing the direction that you're mowing, the grass does much better. You see, if you mow one direction all the time, it begins to put ruts in your lawn, and the grass starts laying down in a particular way. Your cut isn't as clean. So we would change directions every week. We start off one week mowing to the northwest, then to the northeast, then vertical, and then horizontal. I know it sounds kind of funny, but it looks beautiful, and your turf will appreciate it. When you combine that with the proper mow height, which we talked about earlier, and changing directions, your lawn just looks better. Now, maybe you have a professional do it, and sometimes they forget. Not that they're not professional and doing the best they can, but sometimes they forget or they just don't know. If you ask your service provider to change directions, it'll make a big difference. This is a line trimmer. You know, people call it a line trimmer, a string trimmer, or a weed eater. Well, whatever you call it, it's a great tool for cutting. But if you noticed, this turf right here, where the line trimmer has been used, is shorter than the turf that was cut with the lawnmower. Here's the thing. Because we have a tool to cut something, sometimes we feel obligated to cut. But you know, if you're mowing at 2.5 inches, you should line trim at 2.5 inches. That means don't cut shorter with your line trimmer than you would with your lawnmower. And another thing, your trees. Your trees, well, most of us have turf around some trees. If you cut right up to your trees with your line trimmer, you can cause damage. Now, with an old pine tree like that, it'd take quite a while. But most trees will be damaged, and some even die because while cutting the grass with a line trimmer, they cut into the bark of the tree, and eventually that can cause damage, even death. So use your line trimmer the way you use your mower. If you're mowing at 2.5 inches and that's your proper height for summertime, you don't need to cut any shorter with your line trimmer. As a matter of fact, you don't want to. And, you know, hug your trees, don't cut your trees. Well, that's it for our tutorial for proper mowing. Hey, tune in next time. We're going to have a whole bunch more of these, but our very next one will be on proper watering. All right, hope it helped. See you soon.